Deborah King is a popular speaker, New York Times bestselling author, and leading authority on energy medicine. A successful attorney in her 20s, when a diagnosis of cancer sent her on a search for truth, Deborah turned to alternative medicine and had an amazing remission at the hands of a healer. Along the way, she conquered the alcohol and drug addiction she had used to bury an abusive childhood, leaving the corporate arena for the mysterious world of healers, sages, and shamans. Deborah mastered ancient and modern energy medicine systems, which I can't wait to talk about, ultimately developing a powerful technique of her own. Her New York Times bestselling, Be Your Own Shaman, Truth Heals, Entangled in Darkness and Heal Yourself, Heal the World, along with her Life Force Energy Healing programs, guide others to personal transformation so they too can lead. Deborah has a lively Facebook following of over 500,000. W Magazine calls her and her work electrifying. And I've seen Deborah speak at the conference that we do here in Los Angeles, and I'm just in awe of everything that she shares. And welcome, Deborah. I'm so happy to have you here. Oh, you're, oh.
So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. So before we get into your story, because I think it's super fascinating to go from being this corporate lawyer and having this huge transformation and this healing, I want to know, what is your definition of healing?
Oh, well, that's a loaded question, huh? So it varies, for every person and every moment. It's not the same for you, for example, today as it might be tomorrow. And we heal on all different levels. Sometimes on the physical, sometimes on the emotional, sometimes on the spiritual, sometimes on all. It just depends.
Yeah, it does depend. I love that there's so many different ways that we can heal and so many ways of looking at that. And I think that where we're at in the world right now, that the key is that we're just in need of that in all areas. There's so much need for us all to come together and find ways to heal. So will you share your story and tell us how you started into this work? Because I think it's really a powerful story for everyone to understand.
Yeah, and it was a couple centuries ago, it seems like. I was a young, kind of hard-charging young lawyer just out of law school, and I was going to whip the world into shape, and who knows what my grandiose plans were. When I woke up with cancer one morning, cervical cancer, and I was in my early 20s, I was pretty surprised. I couldn't figure out, why me? That's the first question everyone asks, is why me? So I decided, I immediately, got medical advice, and they said, you got a little window of time here. So I decided to step off my life as I was living it and look at myself. Well, now that's very popular now, right? But it wasn't then. And I stood away and looked at Deborah, and I thought, wow, you're just band-aiding everything with alcohol and drugs and extreme sports, and you don't know how you feel. So I decided to find out how I felt. I did it through meditating. Again, not a popular pastime that many years ago, but now, extremely beloved. But I started meditating, and I kind of stumbled on an energy healer, and I had 3 sessions and had this amazing remission. And I went back to the hospital because, being a red-blooded American, and I wanted proof. And the x-rays were the proof, and the doctors all said, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. So that was my story. And so I was so intrigued. I was going to study energy medicine. I was thinking at the place where I'd had this remission. And instead, this is kind of funny, Melissa, I was walking down the stairs from the hospital, and I stumbled over a kiosk on the street while I was waiting for a cab. And as I was writing myself, I saw there were flyers inside with the word healing, and so I grabbed one, and I'm reading it in the cab. And it turns out that there was this now defunct but then active healing, esoteric Christian healing group in the Bay Area of California. And I ended up staying and studying with them for 10 years. I was still a lawyer. I was still busy doing that, but this became my obsession, my compelling passion, my life. I was just fascinated by it. And it was a good 10 years later that I swung back and started studying what you and I might call chakra-based healing, where I'd had the original remission. So then I spent 10 years there studying and then teaching there. So here we are.
Yeah, here we are. And what an
Yeah.
incredible story. And for those that might not know, let's talk a little bit and dive into chakra-based healing. That's what helped you to first heal, and that was what you ended up your second study of diving deep into. And I know, and if I'm correct, that's a real foundation for some of the programs that you have created and for your own specialty, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Now, again, like all of us, you learn for 20 years. It takes about 20 years, they say, to master a craft.
Mm.
And I've been at this way more than that, closer to 40. And after 20, you start to evolve your own version, your own gifts. And that's where I'm at. And so I do teach basic chakra-based energy work to my students, but then I take them further into the techniques I've refined.
Yeah.
And then one of my students will, or several of them will get on the path I'm on, and I have some very advanced grads these days who've been with me well over 10 years, and they will bring the next refinement into the world.
Mm-hmm. So for
That's
those
how we're always evolving, all of us.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I believe that. And I mean, that was my same journey and path too, was the studying and things, and then taking something out that I now teach to other people that
right
and teach. But specifically for those that might not, that are coming new into this world and might not understand that, what do you mean by chakra-based healing? And then we'll go into, I want to talk about your life force energy, but I know we have a lot, we're reaching masses in this thing, and somebody might not exactly understand what that means.
Well, you're sitting inside an energy field. So you have, you picture it as like a bubble of light. I'm simplifying things a little bit, but not much. So there's this bubble of light that is really the real you. And it's out there somewhere, who knows where, on another plane, and you decide to have a lifetime, a physical human lifetime. Maybe you've had some before. And so as a soul, you want to have this experience because it's in lifetime that we're best able to evolve spiritually, because we evolve spiritually most quickly in relationship. And we don't think we are. We think, oh my God, that horrible divorce or that boss from hell. But actually, that's the grist in the mill that makes you gives you the opportunity to become a better person. We have this, so we always have free will. That's my belief. And we're given all these opportunities. Every minute of every day, we can decide to take the high road or the low road. The low road would be jealousy, petty, revengeful, poor me, victim, blah, blah, blah. The high road is I'm going to step over that little wrinkle and just keep moving and do the best I can with what I've been given, making lemonade out of these lemons that I forget I chose before I came here. So we actually choose these challenges of perhaps for one person a difficult body and for somebody else a difficult career. And you arrive here as a thin line of intentionality called a horror line, and from it evolves your energy field, and from your energy field comes your body. So it's really interesting that the body evolves out of your human energy field, that bubble of light I was just describing. And because your body comes from your field can be charged, balanced, and cleared, and that will affect both your emotions and your body and your soul. So that's what chakra-based healing is. It's charging, balancing, and clearing your energy field to better impact the parts of you, your personality, and your body, the parts that you're living through. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. I love that you say we're in a bubble of light, because we always say, you've heard the saying, you are light or I am light, and literally we are light. It's a, and having that experience. And so you took that as a basis and you studied all these other things. And now you have your own system that you share, that you teach, and you've worked, have over 5,000 students that have gone through your school, at least, I know. And so can you share a little bit what life force energy is and how people can harness that experience for healing in their lives?
Well, the interesting thing is that after I studied, then did chakra-based healing for, say, 20 years, I swung back and picked up my original training from those esoteric Christians. It infiltrated ever so slowly until one day I realized that I'd gone back to the original teachings, the very first work I'd learned. that it was the most valuable, the most powerful, and my personality likes instant. I'm a little bit type A pluses, and I don't do well with delay. And so it was perfect for me because that work is fast. It's like right now. That's what life force energy healing is. It's learning how to harness the power of the divine. It's hard to explain. It's easier demonstrated, I think, than described. One of my publishers, Simon Schuster, wanted me to write a chapter on it. And I said, a chapter? Oh my God, you'll be lucky to get 2 pages out of me on what life force energy healing is, because I'm just describing the technique that I've evolved. And again, it's easier to feel it, to receive it, or to be shown in it than it is to talk about it.
Is it possible to do a demonstration on a platform like this?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
So then we can't do that. Okay. Yeah. That's why I was wondering. So we're trying to, give people different ways. So it's hard. I like how you said harnessing the divine. What we teach in our quantum healing courses is that you are the source, that you're not like channeling through, healing through you, but that you're pulling source in, and that you're bringing that in, and you're becoming the emanation or the transmission, and that it's from a place of wholeness. And so when you say that divine, kind of gives me that idea of that's what we're doing. We're really learning now how to harness the experience of we're not separate from that. It is all part of everything that we are, right? And when you can learn how to use that, then we can really really heal things on every level: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, right? Whatever those might be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's well explained, Melissa. Yeah,
oh,
good.
Okay. So what's your favorite thing about your work and what you do?
My favorite thing that I do and what I excel at most is something that I call an initiation. I'd love to talk about that for a minute. And I'll tell you the first time it ever happened to me, I was on my back, face up, with a brand new chiropractor that I didn't know. It was the first time in his office. I still remember it was a Saturday morning, and you know how you're a little uneasy because first time new person and everything. And all of a sudden, toward the end of the session, I had this uncontrollable urge to go like this, directly at him. And I'm like, what in the world am I doing? And he's like receiving this energy. He could feel it, and we're both just like blown away by this. And I was so embarrassed afterwards. I could hardly wait to give him my credit card and get out of there.
Get out.
And I never went back. Oh God, I was like, what was that? Well, it turned out that I had been gifted, downloaded this skill, and I kind of knew what it was when, I was pretty well read by then in the esoteric fields, and I had seen a couple of things in the back of some churches that looked pretty similar. And I'd had a teacher tell me some years before, you will end up initiating people. And I thought, me? Why me? Why me? Because I'm not the best student in this class, that's for sure. And it's just what I meant to do. And so it just started happening regularly, and pretty soon, let's say I'd done 100 people, and then I'd done 1,000 people, and then I learned how to do a group. I can do a group if the energy is at a certain level. So an initiation is, there's a lot of esoteric literature on it, and they're called different things in different cultures, but it's the same around the world. No matter what culture I go to and experience this, they have a different name for it, but I can tell you it's the same energy. So what it is your intentionality when you incarnated and came here in that bubble of light, which then manifested your body, is to expand your vibration. You expand your vibration by turning life's lemons into lemonade. Truly, that's actually how you do it. And you'll become ready for the first initiation, maybe early, maybe late, who knows when, and it can happen anytime and on your own. And once you know about this and you reflect back, you'll think, oh, I bet that's what happened that day I was helping my cousin give birth, or when I was helping my dad pass, or when I was having that intimate moment with my partner, or when I was down at the ocean and I felt that expansive feeling. So for each person, that first initiation happens spontaneously, and often is not, noticed too much. You just think you just had a moment where you felt so connected to everything. You just felt great. The higher ones need to be facilitated, and that's my job, is to facilitate. I'm just a midwife. I can't force it for you. I can only bring it in if you're ready. And what I look at is your 8th and higher chakras. I can sense it. I see people and they look like they have little, I shouldn't say sense people, and they have little lights over their head, little candles. And if you know the story of the upper room, if you're familiar with that story, it's the same thing.
But I'm sure most people are not.
Well, the upper room, I'm not by any means a Bible expert, trust me. It's not my field of expertise. I know the Vedas, which are Hindu. I don't know a lot of Bible, but in the New Testament, after Jesus died, his followers, his disciples, all went to an upper room, probably hoping to connect with him. And all of a sudden, these little things of light came over each person's head in the room, and that's what happened to them. They were initiating. They were being downloaded what they call the Holy Spirit. We call it the same thing here. So in some countries, it might be called the rising of the Kundalini, different names.
Right.
Different names, different in South America, but again, same experience. Your energy field actually moves up a vibration or 2 or 3, and in this experience. And when they're higher, the recipient knows. They feel it. They feel kind of like they're buzzing. And then after a while, you get used to it, and you think, well, did I lose it? No, you just got used to it. So now that's your new normal.
Yeah.
Might take 3 days, might take 3 months if it's a really high one. And so it's the favorite thing I do. It's what I do best, by
Now,
far.
does someone have more than one initiation in their in their life?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And not when I started. When I started, you were lucky to get one in a lifetime. And I remember literally feeling like I was crawling over glass or through a desert on my knees, I get there and fasting and praying. And now I'll have students have one every other year.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say I've definitely had 3 or 4 to this point.
Good for you. Good
and
for
so,
you.
And I love that. I've never heard it called initiation, but I like that. I've heard other names for it, right? Like over the different experiences. And I think it's a really powerful for people to understand. I can remember one of my most powerful. I turned 40 years old in Bali, Indonesia, in 2017. And I went to Tanah, and I'm sitting on the top of one of the rocks, and I'm sitting there and just bawling, and I'm crying, and I'm like in this space of like just such bliss and joy. And I literally saw the world shift around me. It was like a visceral shift, and everything changed. And I felt this energy, and I was just like, oh, it will always be before 40 and after 40. I was just saying, it was one of those experiences, and I knew that was something really big for me. That was a huge shift, and I believe that was one of the initiations that I've had. So I'm sure if all of you out there thinking or watching this, think of a time in your life where you've had that experience, but then you say like you help people usher into that next level. Like you can't get to
the higher levels, and you won't think the numbers are high, but they're not accessible without a facilitator.
Right. Yeah. So how do you facilitate that? Like, what is the experience that people go through?
Oh, now that's another one of those undescribable things. Yeah. Well, I have a student who I think is almost ready to learn how to facilitate, and so I've been working on trying to explain, to put words to it. And I take first of all, I have to discern the individual's ready. Of course, I have their permission. Right. And then I discern that they're ready. I sense that readiness in their thymus and above their head. And then I hear a tone. So it's a tone. And I connect to that sound, and I vocalize. I match it, and then I pull it. And I pull it in through, I attract it, I conduct it through my own field, and I transmit it to the individual. And it's a wow sensation for me.
So you feel it, and they feel it also. So it's something you actually physically can feel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, beautiful. And so once someone is in this and has this initiation or has this experience, what does that do for them? How does it change their life? What's the
Oh, that's such a great question. Oh, I just love that question, Melissa, because it's subtle. And maybe a week later, well, here was my own experience. So I was, it's really, it's really hilarious that I was an attorney, but terrified of public speaking. I mean, beyond terrified, ridiculously, I mean, like a serious issue. I had an initiation, and the next thing I'm out speaking on a speaking tour. I was doing 3 cities a week.
just like
Loving
that?
it. Yeah,
Wow.
just like that.
Yeah.
Awkward at first. You could tell I was totally unpolished. And
Yeah.
in fact, my very first event, I I put an ad in the LA Times and said, free healings, put the address and the time. And a bunch of people came, they're curious. Yeah. And I walked in with my eyes on the floor. I thought, well, I'll just pretend that it's like I'm in a private session because I had private practice back then. I thought I'll just pretend that, and I said, you're first. I'm not looking at the crowd. It might scare me. So I just look at the guy in the front row and I go, hey, dude, you're first. He comes up. And so I worked with him. And then I said, thank you. And then you're next. I'm sure it was hilarious to watch, right? Because I was so ill at ease. But, 12 sessions later, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was that, and then the next thing I knew, I wrote a book. Well, I didn't consider myself a writer, and then I hit the New York Times list, and I thought, well, I guess I can write.
Yeah. Sounds like you really just opened up to the field, and like we're just getting the downloads of like your energy, what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime.
Yeah, point to your 8th chakra. So all your stuff's up there, and all of a sudden it's in here. And you can live through it. You can use this body and this personality and manifest those gifts that are up there. They just need... When you vibrate at this higher level, this stuff can be part of your body. Mm-hmm. It's very fun. It's a really fun field to be in. Yeah. Way beats law. Okay.
I would agree for sure. So for someone that's looking to grow their spirituality and aspire to higher spirituality, and maybe is not being able to pull some of that stuff in, what do you find is some of the most common stumbling blocks for people?
The biggest one is getting them from the 2nd level to the 3rd level because they have too much shame and self-blame. They don't like themselves well enough. I can't help them move up to 3, which doesn't sound high, but is very high, because they're hung up on, oh, that terrible thing I did. And I don't like myself. And they don't like themselves because maybe one of their parents didn't like them. Mm-hmm. Whatever the reason is, I got to help them get over that. They've got to like themselves. And so that's one of the main things I work on with people.
So to explain, you said levels 1, 2, 3. What does that mean?
Well, in the traditional teachings, there are levels of initiation. And I would, if a listener or viewer is interested in that, I would point them, I talk about it there's a whole chapter on initiations in my book, Heal Yourself, Heal the World. Okay,
perfect. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So people will have that first initial initiation, or maybe the spontaneous one, but then
the first one they happen spontaneously.
Spontaneously, right. And then like when they're trying to work through to get to those higher levels, the I don't like myself, or the guilt and the blame, the shame, like all that human stuff that we all have, the traumas and stuff, are what keeps them from going.
Is a block between 2 and 3, typically.
Yeah. And so you work specifically with helping people to clear that stuff out of their
I do.
Out of their lives. Yeah. And that through your programs and through the work. Is that through
my workshops and my teaching programs.
I love it. So what is besides the initiations, is there a special, like, someone or something that you can share with us, like we're talking about healing today, like what's been one of the most fascinating experiences or healings or things that you've seen within your work?
Geez, I've seen so many really remarkable things. One of the first things that ever happened to me, I was real interested in healing on the physical level, healing others on the physical level, which is what happened to me. Yeah. So I was really interested in how to reproduce that, and I worked on it for years and years and years. And then one day I actually saw a woman's broken wrist heal. I was like, wow, this
Wow.
stuff actually works. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I still get tingles just thinking about it.
absolutely.
It's one of the harder techniques to teach. It does take a while to help someone get there.
Yeah. But it's so powerful. This is, the key with what we're teaching in this series is that we were born into a society where we've been taught that allopathic medicine and that this is the way that you heal and this is go take some pills and some potions or a vaccine and you're going to be fine, right? And that's what the thing is. And there's just being able to bring into the world and be like, there are so many other ways and opportunities and
Yes.
the experiences that you can have. And our bodies are superhuman. We have the abilities within us to completely shift and change everything. So, do you have a meditation about going from darkness to light?
I do. Uh-huh.
Because we're talking about you are the light and a beautiful. Would you be able to share that meditation with us today? Walk us through a little bit
Sure.
of it. Awesome,
Yeah.
beautiful. Give everybody a bit of an experience of what it's like to go
Yeah.
from darkness.
And just
to
as a little prelude, I would say that let's just talk about darkness for a moment, so people
Okay.
have a thought about what might be for them, what that might mean. We all, Melissa, we're all dealing. Well, let me back up. So I work on a level now. When I'm at work, that means I'm in the zone where I do not see darkness and light. I only see unity, the unity principle. I only see light. This took a while, like a lifetime, and I can't hold it all day. I can hold it for 3 or 4 hours, and then I need to come back down, and take a break, because it's an energetic thing and it's a vibrational thing, and it requires quite a bit of focus. But when I'm there and I look at you, and again, you've asked me to look, or I wouldn't be looking, I don't see your flaws as flaws. I see them at another level as beautiful parts of you that are helping you become the best version of you. Yeah. And we only see dark when we're living on this plane, and the plane of duality. And then we see light and dark, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a fiction, though, as the Vedas teach. Darkness is what you experience when you don't know who you are.
Oh, fascinating.
Mm-hmm. So if you really know who you are, you're in the light of infinite consciousness.
Yeah.
And so darkness is the ignorance of our true nature. And that's what a dark night of the soul is. We've all heard that expression, right? That's a spiritual crisis. That happens when everything we believe in, everything that gave our life meaning, just goes out the window. Mm-hmm. And that's when we haven't let in the fullness of our own divinity. Mm. So I'm a big student of St. Teresa of Avila. She's one of the St. Teresas, and like 13th century. And she fell into a dark night, and her work. I follow her work and teach her work quite a bit about how she plunged into that darkness and how she pulled herself out. Now, the Vedas is the other place I would go for light, because they teach that light is life. And, in the East, there's a whole 5-day celebration called Diwali,
yes.
Right? That's all about light. And
yep.
they light their little clay oil lamps, and, it's all about the triumph of good over evil.
Yeah.
So, with that, just kind of as a background, so that you have a thought that really what you think of as your own darkness is just gifts that you've chosen to have manifest in your life, whether it was an accident or an illness or a tragedy at home or at work, or a tsunami, could be almost anything. That's something that you planned to give yourself an opportunity to see just how light you could be. So let's all just close our eyes for a moment, and we'll do a little meditation here, a little guided meditation. I want you to imagine that you're in a dark room, and that it's so dark that you don't even see stars, super dark. And just feel that darkness penetrating you, and what does it feel like? And then ask yourself, what arises within you as you sit in this darkness? Is it some shame or some hurt or some dark thoughts maybe about someone else? And maybe you have thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not supposed to be happy. That's a pretty dark place to sit in, isn't it? So take a deep breath and bring your attention to the base of your spine, to your base chakra. Just connect right into the base of your body. And just know how much you really belong here. You are a child of Mother Earth. Now I want you to light a match, a metaphorical match, and we'll use the flame of that match to light the wick of a metaphorical candle. So it's a little ways away from you, maybe 2 or 3 feet away. Just sense that candle flame and feel the candle flame's energy. Now, using your intentionality and guided by me, just pull the light of that glowing candle right toward you. Pull it right into your heart. And let that candle burn brightly as a symbol of the fire of your love. First, share all that love with you. Make yourself the beneficiary. Really embrace yourself. You are amazing. You are an amazing child of the gods. You are beyond amazing. Just let that light overflow and fill everything. And let it protect your heart. Let it just wash out any abandonment, any betrayal, anything that's making you not love you. Really let that light now flow throughout the whole core of your body. Have it fill your bones and your organs and your glands. Just feel that radiant light. It's making you radiantly healthy. And let it cleanse away worry and fear and any anxiety you may have. And now send that light right down your arms and now down your legs, and into your feet, and right into the earth beneath you. Just let it really connect you to the earth. And now come back to your luminescent heart and let that light flow the other direction, upward, into your throat, into your head. Just let it fill the core of your brain, right into your pineal gland. That's the seat of your soul. And now see yourself. You are ablaze in light from head to toe. Your whole field, your energy field, is just glowing. Has little prisms of colors, some known and some even unknown on this plane. So this is really who you are. You are light. So you're just as brilliant as the sun, just as glittering as the stars. As they say, as above, so below. So just allow that light, keep it within your heart and every cell of your body. Just honor yourself. You are a being of light. I want you to love yourself as light, just as much as the light loves you. All right, come back now until you see the candle flame again. And you can open your eyes. Great. Didn't that feel good?
That was so beautiful.
Lightning round. A miracle is what happens every day.
Your definition of spirituality.
Your love for yourself and everything around you.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. People get sick because?
Lack of love.
What is one daily ritual, practice, or thing you cannot live without?
Meditating.
Yeah.
Never skip it. Never have.
Yeah. One truth that you would leave for all of your friends, family, humanity to know?
Love yourself. It's the key. And accept yourself the way you are today.
So powerful, acceptance, love and acceptance for yourself. I agree. And one thing that you have coming up that you want to do, be, or receive, that you're super excited about, that you want to share with everybody?
Well, where I'm in Southern California, I'm super excited. It's summer almost.
I'm in Southern California.
All of a sudden, I'm just loving it. I have to say, I'm kind of a weather junkie.
Yeah.
Love this weather.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
Deborah.
want to share that sunshine with everyone.
Yes, I was just out walking in Corona Del Mar this morning, out on the beach.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
amazing.
lucky you. Lucky you.
Right before our call, so it was it. So thank you, Deborah, so much for
Yeah,
your
great seeing you,
advocacy.
Melissa. Thank you for having me.
Everyone, please share this episode with everyone that you love, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.